In my mind, there's one choice for roofing around here, and I'd go with your best choice. Whether it's time to replace your roof or repair it, Best Choice Roofing provides top-notch roofing services tailored to meet the unique needs of Detroit homes and businesses. They serve the region and inside the city of Detroit, too. You can find out more at bestchoiceroofing.com/Detroit. That's bestchoiceroofing.com/Detroit, or call 313-474-7031. That's 313-474-7031. Hello, everyone, and welcome to your Daily Detroit, sharing what to know and where to go in Southeast Michigan. It's Wednesday, November 26th, 2025, our last episode before the Thanksgiving holiday.
Turkey Day.
Until holiday, I am Jer Stays, and that voice you hear in the distance is none other than the Prince of Brightmoor himself, Norris Howard. How are you?
The West Side returns. I am here once more. Thank y'all so much for joining us on the show today.
Absolutely. So, we've got a pretty packed show. If you are looking at us at our YouTube stream, you would notice that we are wearing collars on our shirts today, and I even have a sport coat.
Yeah, we had to go and appear amongst the power elite in in Metro Detroit, I think is the term.
So I want to unpack a conversation that we got to see, a fireside chat between Dan Gilbert, the real estate magnate, founder of Rocket, formerly Quicken Loans. Very important, a lot of things that are happening. And outgoing mayor, Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan, who is also running as an independent for governor.
Yep.
And I thought it interesting to go to this fire chat in a very kind of intimate setting and get some ideas on where they're thinking about the city, where they're thinking about the state, and also tying it into some other stuff that you and I have been chopping up about offline. And I thought it was worthy to get up and go and do that. It was a good opportunity. Thanks to the Detroit Regional Chamber for having us. But let's get into it, because I think there are things in this conversation that a lot of our audience would find interesting.
Yeah, I think first and foremost, we all know, as you said, Mike Duggan running as an independent for governor. And this was sort of his, almost you began to start to see a platform start emerging, right? There were a couple things that Mayor Duggan was talking about that really kind of leaned into, okay, this is going to be a campaign issue moving forward. Dan Gilbert asked him, in your purview, what is the number one thing that Detroit's going to have to worry about in the future? And his answer was housing affordability. And I found that to be a very interesting answer, because we all know of the affordability crisis nationwide, but we normally haven't thought about it within the context of the city of Detroit, because there's been stock, and then there's single family homes, and there's space to build, but the level of construction needed to meet demand, it hasn't gotten to that level. And so Mayor Duggan explained that, went into the zoning issues that we lament almost daily on this show, talking about zoning and allowing developers to build more multifamily units in Detroit.
To add context, there have been a number of reports, and we're going to do a little bit of conversation on it too with some guests, around challenges in building multifamily and single family homes in the city of Detroit, and then making it so that when they're rented out, it makes sense to make money, because you got to make some money on it. And there are some multifamily buildings that are sitting 20% empty because of various issues, including people who just aren't paying rent, a tenant eviction process that's taking too long.
Way too long. You got a number of issues going on where you've got some major landlords not able to pay their mortgages, and they recently invested to fix up these places. And that is a red alert, especially in a city that's still adding people. We need to keep building, and Mayor Duggan talked about this. We have to keep building ahead of what the demand is so that we can keep the prices down. It's supply and demand. It's kind of an amount of change that the city is wrestling with right now. It is. And I think one of the main things the city is wrestling with is because, with that sort of new money, new investment in new building, people are starting to witness, some of the demographics of their neighborhoods change. And we just got to call it for what it is that there are neighborhoods in the city of Detroit where people are uncomfortable with the fact that there's a lot of white folks moving in. And this city is traditionally 82% to 85% African American. Now, listen, on its face, should that bother anybody? No. But traditionally, that has come with other issues, i.e. gentrification, cultural changes. And there's, some certain neighborhoods are feeling very, very antsy about that. But the nuts and bolts of it is this: Detroit needs people, period. There are not enough people. We're talking about a loss of almost 300,000 people just within the past 20 years or 15 years. There is no way the city can continue to sustain itself for its tax base and services without more people.
Growth is important as part of the pie because long term, it doesn't equal out where we're at.
Yeah, it doesn't. And, the number two thing, and I want to hit this hard, is Dan Gilbert and Mayor Duggan both sat there and said right after that, the next most important issue for them to figure out for the future of Detroit is mass transit.
Yeah.
Those two are a chicken egg conversation. And that is the difficult part of it, which is you got to have mass transit to get people to want to move to your city. But also you can't build mass transit or get the justification for the investment in mass transit if the people aren't already there. So now Detroit finds itself in this sort of conundrum of what do we focus on first? And it sounds like the focus is going to be first on housing. And I think that is probably the smarter thing because you already have a very large region. If people just within the region start moving back to the city, then you could justify the mass transit. Then you could get more people nationwide.
I want to stand on something real quick.
Yeah, let's get it.
One of the things they talked about was an increase in duplex, triplex, and other kind of smaller level multifamily homes. What has yours truly been talking about for on how many years on this very show?
You have.
About zoning changes, about creating the density that allows for transit to make sense, because mass transit of the way that we keep hearing everybody wanting it to happen does not make sense if every neighborhood is single family. I'm not saying change neighborhoods that are solid.
But
when it comes to building things out, even in my neighborhood, you drive through what are the ruins of what used to be there. And there is that middle density, 8plexes, 4plexes. I was just driving with a friend and these things were here. We need to recreate them and do more to support this. And then also to create the affordable housing that we need at various stations in life.
I'm going to say something that I think might be slightly unpopular, I think, with certain people. And, if it's not, lovely. But I think actually what we need is a lot more brush park style projects.
Maybe not at that price point.
Maybe, no, not at that price point. But I mean, here was the sort of city modern project, which was a planned community, basically, that had a combination of rehabbed single family, apartments, condos, and townhomes, right? And carriage houses. That has allowed in a less than a decade, a area of the city that literally just didn't have anything there for almost 20, 25 years, particularly after the destruction of the projects over there, that now something is there and people live there. And the thing about it is that the site where the projects used to stand, actually nothing is still there. It was used as a festival grounds. But there are areas of Detroit, I think of, parts of East 7 Mile. I think of parts of Brightmoor. I think of parts in Core City where some of that development is already happening, where you wouldn't be displacing people. You'd be able to revitalize a community without moving people out, actually giving people an incentive to stay because you're revitalizing their neighborhoods. I think it's a very, very interesting time, but to hear two powerful people of that magnitude say that these are their two biggest things, I think it's exciting and I think it's interesting as well.
It's also interesting to see that the land value tax conversation about changing Detroit's tax structure, at least as Mike Duggan tells it, is part of how he was inspired to run for governor.
Yeah, essentially he told the story of going up to Lansing and trying to get the land value tax deal pushed through, which if you are unfamiliar with land value tax, very quickly, you tax the land instead of the building. So right now you pay property taxes on buildings. And if there's no building there, then that means you pay a really reduced tax rate because nothing's there.
And it incentivizes you in the current market to not improve your structure.
Right.
Because when you improve it, you end up paying more taxes
because it's a more valuable piece of property.
I know people who have had landlords who will let their place sink into the earth because they're afraid of fixing it so is that the numbers no longer work for their rentals.
Yeah, exactly. So they went up to push forth the land value tax changes. It got caught up in partisan politics. And to be perfectly honest with you, it is a thing that they highlighted very, very interestingly. And this is why I said this was like a borderline sort of almost stump speech, if you will, because they were talking about, hey, nobody hates the two-party system more than our young people. And there's a kernel of truth there. And I think that is sort of what Mike Duggan is banking on. I think he is trying to highlight the jaded nature of our partisan politics. And to be honest, it is hard to see in a state like Michigan how that can't be a recipe that potentially could win, particularly in a state like Michigan, which is very purple.
It's just going to be a very interesting race over the next year.
Oh, yeah.
Especially after Duggan leaves the mayoral office and Sheffield takes the actual reins, seeing what she does. Her transition team is underway. I think she's taking applications for her transition team and for her staff online. You can go look that up. It's going to be interesting to see, especially after the first, how much this campaign changes. You know, you look at the polling, Duggan's going to do very well in Metro Detroit.
Yep.
Can he resonate outstate?
Can he do it outstate?
And how does the rest of the partisan map and things, the outside world, affect the view of that Democrat-Republican dichotomy? I think a lot of people are frustrated with the lack of progress by Michigan economically in a lot of ways. In fact, on the show recently, I had a State of Education report talking about how our incomes have fallen to 40th.
Yep.
Not good.
No, it's not good. And to be honest with y'all, until we see changes, unfortunately, in Washington, they're probably going to either stay there or get worse. It is a very trying time for Michigan as a state. Even though Detroit seems to be on the up and up, there are some really serious challenges coming ahead for whoever is the next governor and whoever is the next mayor. But hopefully that good energy can continue and maybe more of a partnership can grow between Detroit and Lansing in the future. Who knows?
Before we wrap up on this topic, I also want to mention it was kind of great to see Dan Gilbert.
Yeah.
Like in the flesh out there doing things.
Yeah, it was, you know.
And if people don't know, he had a stroke. It was very severe. He's been through a lot of rehab. He conducted this fireside chat. It's kind of like a buddy film they've been doing.
It's kind of funny.
It is kind of funny. They took it all the way out to San Francisco, apparently.
Yeah, like apparently like that's just like the billionaire like funding tour. Like, you know, let's just send Mike Duggan and Dan Gilbert like out to everywhere and, you know, have them do a buddy cop movie. And
who's Walter Matthau? Who's
Jack Lemmon?
Who's Jack Lemmon? Yeah.
Jack Lemmon is Dan Gilbert for sure.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But that's the thing, man. It was good to see Dan Gilbert, and you know he has invested a lot of money in the city of Detroit, brought a lot of jobs to the city of Detroit, and I hate to say it, man, and you know me, you know how I feel personally, Jay. I won't go further than that, but it's like America deserves a better brand of billionaire. You know, we got a lot of billionaires who are not doing the kind of stuff that Dan Gilbert is doing in Detroit and Cleveland. And I think he puts a lot of these rich folks to shame when it comes to what he's put his money into.
I mean, you look at the towers and stuff downtown, that ROI is going to be 30 years, not 7.
And it's not even just about ROI or just big buildings. It's about, you know, bringing bedrock here and employing people, investing in different foundations and charity programs, opening up different types of businesses. Like, that's the thing, is that like dude opens a bar and a restaurant and a fun stuff too, not just like hedge funds.
Let's switch gears. So Small Business Saturday is coming up, and it's really important that we highlight our local businesses. I like to highlight some good news out there with people.
Yeah, man. Because
there's just so much good stuff happening. I know that up ahead, not this weekend, but a week after, there's Marion Midtown with City Bird and Nest, which, by the way, you can check out those places on Small Business Saturday. But there's stuff all over the region. The Detroit Hispanic Development Corporation, they're going to be doing their Phantasma Market and Cafe. So that's pretty cool. The Grandmont Rosedale Development Corporation is going to have their stuff.
Round my way.
Yup. There's all kinds of stuff. Of course, if you want to be up in Oakland County, you've got the Rust Belt.
Yes.
Which is
love
a great
Rust Belt.
local hub of stuff.
If you haven't been to Rust Belt, go to Rust Belt. It's such a cool place. Like, you could buy a little bit of everything at Rust Belt.
You can even have a wedding there if you want.
You sure can. I almost did.
But it's great because you can go around, do all the shopping, and they also have a bar.
Mm-hmm.
Downtown Royal Oak's doing something for Small Business Saturday. They're doing tote bags, there's all kinds of cute stuff in downtown Royal Oak.
And that's another thing, too, is that particularly for Small Business Saturday, you're going to have a great opportunity to potentially not just get deals, but also like little perks and swag and tchotchkes and stuff like that.
So between 11 and 1, actually, up in downtown Royal Oak, there will be social happy hours at Desert Oasis and Pronto.
Oh, fantastic. So there you go.
Yep, and there's giveaways and all that kind of stuff. So there's just so much happening. Grosse Points have something in there.
And in addition to the shops in Cadillac Square. So yeah, you can check those out on Small Business Saturday, which is always a great time. That's actually one of my favorite parts about the holiday season in Detroit is like when that was added to the whole like holiday tradition. It's just cool, man. So check it out, Small Business Saturday. Save your ducats, man, because these big box stores don't need it.
By the way, I'm so glad that they upgraded the huts over the years. Do you remember the original?
Dude, the first huts were not great.
They were not great.
Them people was in there freezing.
It was ridiculous.
It was bad.
It was almost like in like one of those kids' play school.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they were prettier than that, but it
was not great. And now
this is much better.
They're like little prefab homes, you know. They're like tiny homes.
We could do like a little studio in there.
Yeah.
It would actually work.
Maybe we should next year.
Maybe someone should let us out there
to
do a live stream.
Dear whoever is in charge of that, downtown
downtown
Detroit.
strategic bedrock partner.
All of you guys,
somebody,
whatever acronym you decide, invite us down there and give us a little booth, and we will do special content.
Yeah,
wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
It's so important to support local. We're going to be talking more about supporting local over the next few weeks because I know that this holiday season for some people, you know, they're doing all right. Other people, it's really challenging keeping those dollars in our community whenever we can. I know there's some stuff you got to order online. We work in the technology world. You can't buy a local roadcaster, I don't think. A locally grown roadcaster.
No, you can't get a locally sourced.
Because I think this thing's made in Australia
Yeah,
or
you
whatever.
can't get a locally sourced roadcaster.
But there's a lot of things that you can.
Yeah,
and if you can, do it.
You could go to a local music store and get most things.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I appreciate it. As always, send me a note, dailydetroit@gmail.com. I'll do my best for recommendations, our social media on Threads, on Instagram. We're active over there. By the way, shout out to engineer Randy Walker and his train video.
Oh, yeah. Apparently people really enjoy that.
130,000 people are into the CPKC holiday train, which apparently had Smash Mouth on the back of it. I did not realize it.
It's one of those things where that one missed me, the train thing.
Hey, now.
The holiday no, please stop. Don't do it.
Are you an all-star?
I'm going to quit the show.
I appreciate you. All right. Well, we are going to wrap it up for today. This will be our last podcast until after the holidays. We will be back next Tuesday afternoon for the live stream.
Yep.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And let me just say, if we don't see you in the streets over the holiday break, make sure you guys have a great Thanksgiving, great holiday. Please drink responsibly.
If you drink.
If you got designated drivers or you could just stay at your family house, please stay there. Be very careful. But more than that, enjoy yourselves. And if you're just doing the Friendsgiving thing, make sure that you tell everybody close to you that you love them and all that good stuff.
A reminder that if you go to a bar with a big bell in the middle, like the two-way in, if you ring it, you're gonna have to buy everybody shots.
Yeah, don't do
that unless you're ready for that.
Yeah, don't do that. That's a good call out. A lot of people don't know.
I
know we got a lot of new people in town too.
We got to help the rookies.
Yeah, don't do that, y'all.
Unless you're ready for it. If you're feeling generous, ring it for us.
If you cool with having a $2,000 tab, sure.
Two-way in, come on, it'd be $200.
All right, yeah. It'd be like 80.
Yeah. You've been to the two-way in, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. By the way, there's an argument over what is Detroit's oldest bar.
It's one of them. It's top 3 for sure.
Yeah, it used to be the way station for farmers that were coming down to Eastern Market. You could stay upstairs. There was a jail downstairs as well.
Yep.
General Norris.
Yeah.
There you go, right? Not the prince, the general.
No, the general. But anyway, y'all, happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Don't forget to go to our website, dailydetroit.com.
Yep. And support us, patreon.com/dailydetroit. Stickers, swag, the whole thing. We got lots of great stuff coming up your way. You get access to our member-only Discord, our behind-the-scenes podcast, Off the Record, Off the Rails. We've got some special episodes of that coming up. Just so much stuff. So until next time, happy Thanksgiving. I'm Jer Stays.
And I'm Norris Howard.
Remember that you are somebody, and we'll see you around Detroit.